It was just another quiet Tuesday morning at the Maplewood Police Department. The coffee brewed in the break room. Officers shuffled through paperwork. No calls. No crimes. Just peace. Until Rex, the department's most loyal K9, started barking. It wasn't just a bark, it was loud, urgent, relentless. He wasn't barking at a suspect, or at a strange noise from the outside. He was barking at the wall. More specifically, at the large plaque that hung in the department's lobby, a memorial honoring fallen officers. A heavy wooden frame with golden brass plates lined with names. Names of those who had once walked these very halls, served in the same patrol cars, and then made the ultimate sacrifice. Everyone thought Rex was just being strange. Maybe he saw his reflection, or sensed something. A few chuckled, a few rolled their eyes. But Rex wouldn't stop. He barked, growled, even pawed at the bottom right corner of the plaque, one plate in particular. Sergeant Thomas Ray, a 19-year department veteran and the current K9 handler, pulled on Rex's leash, trying to calm him. "What is it, boy?" "It's just a plaque." But something in Rex's eyes was different, focused, almost desperate. Thomas had worked with dogs his whole career. This wasn't misbehavior. This was a signal. Later that day, something gnawed at Thomas. Rex never acted out like that. And he kept looking at the plaque even when they were across the room, like he was trying to tell someone something. So Thomas returned to the plaque, alone this time. He looked closer at the name Rex had been barking at, Officer Liam Carter, end of watch, June 18, 2001. Thomas didn't remember Carter personally, he had joined the department a few years after Carter's death. But he'd heard bits and pieces from the older officers. Carter had died in the line of duty. Some kind of shootout during a burglary. But that's all anyone ever said. It was a closed case. Still, something didn't sit right. The way Rex had focused on that name. Like there was a ghost in the brass, waiting to be heard. The next morning, Thomas pulled the old case file. It was thin. Too thin. Only a handful of pages. No photos. Just a brief report saying Carter was shot while responding to a home invasion. Suspect unknown. Case closed due to lack of leads. That was it? That same day, Rex refused to walk past the lobby. He kept sitting at the plaque again, whining this time. A soft, low whine like a child pleading for attention. Thomas crouched beside him and whispered, "All right, boy. We're gonna figure this out." He didn't expect the journey ahead would uncover a secret buried for over 2 decades, and nearly destroy the department he'd sworn to protect. Thomas began interviewing retired officers who were still around town. Some were eager to talk, others clammed up at the mention of Liam Carter. Good guy, they all said. Quiet. Kept to himself. Always did his job. But when Thomas pushed further, asking about the night of Carter's death, the answers became vague. It was dark. Bad scene. Never really got to the bottom of it. One name kept coming up, Detective Hal Granger, Liam's former partner. Now long retired, living upstate in a cabin with no phone. It took a 3-hour drive, but Thomas found him. Granger was a grizzled man in his 70s. At first, he refused to speak. Why dig this up now? Let the man rest. But then Rex, who had come along for the drive, sat beside Granger, quietly pressing his head against the old man's knee. Granger stared down, eyes trembling. And then he whispered, "They covered it up." That night, 24 years ago, Carter and Granger had been investigating something bigger than a home invasion. A local businessman, tightly connected to the city council, had been laundering money through real estate fraud. Carter had been close to exposing the ring. But someone inside the department had tipped the businessman off. When Carter arrived at the scene, he wasn't ambushed by a thief, he was set up. He trusted the wrong person, Granger said bitterly. And when I showed up, it was too late. The guy who pulled the trigger wasn't wearing a mask. But I was told to leave it out of the report. They said if I talked, I'd never see my pension. Said it was for the good of the department. I didn't even go to his funeral. Thomas was stunned. All this time, the department's wall of honor had hidden a lie. Rex's strange behavior now made sense. Dogs had incredible memories, incredible senses. But they were also intuitive. Somehow, being in the same place, in front of that name, Rex had sensed that something was wrong. Thomas brought the new information to internal affairs. It wasn't easy. The department was resistant. The records were old. The suspect had long vanished. But Granger's testimony, the inconsistencies in the report, and a hidden notebook of Carter's that Thomas later found in the evidence archives, it all pointed to one truth: Carter had been betrayed from within. The plaque was updated. A small ceremony was held. This time, it was real. No quiet silence. No pretending. The truth came out in the open. For the first time in 24 years, Officer Liam Carter received the honor he deserved. His name, though always on the wall, finally stood for something honest. The story of Rex went viral. People around the world were touched by the dog who wouldn't stop barking. News outlets called it the dog who remembered. Students sent letters. Carter's daughter, who was just 3 when he died, stood in front of the plaque and wept. "I thought I'd lost him forever," she said. "But this dog, he brought my father back to life." Thomas was later promoted, but he never stopped telling Carter's story, or praising Rex. In the end, it wasn't just about one officer, or even one case. It was about listening, even when it comes from those who don't speak our language. About truth, justice, and how sometimes, the most loyal souls have 4 legs and a bark that refuses to be ignored. As for Rex, he still walks past the plaque every morning. But he doesn't bark anymore. He just pauses, then quietly sits. Because he knows, his mission is complete. And for all who walk into the Maplewood Police Department now, they don't just see a wall of names. They see a legacy that was saved, by a dog who remembered.